launch site, the Wallops Island launch site, where tonight, if weather cooperates, there will be a launch to the International Space Station of a cargo resupply mission. And that's why I decided to drive here almost 4 hours, still from my home in another part of the state of Virginia in USA, to see this launch tonight, and I hope to be able to watch it. So I am with you today on the topic of space and the arts. Let me just first check. Elif, are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I will continue then. I am not actually on the moon. Hopefully you see this lovely view, which was
Yeah.
taken during one of the Apollo missions of the Earth rising over the edge of the moon. But it is one of my dreams to travel to the moon someday.
I
And
hope that
I
one day
wanted to
can
give
be
this.
real.
I'm sorry?
I hope that can be real one day.
Yes, perhaps. Yes, perhaps. So it is one of my favorite pictures. It comes from the website Astronomy Picture of the Day, which I encourage everyone to use. It is my homepage on the web, which gives you all kinds of different pictures every day, and was one selected. Space and the arts. So what are the arts? I mean, I use it in a very expansive, wide interpretation, everything from the performing creative arts of music and poetry and painting and sculpture to whatever comes as a creative part of the mind uh, into some new formulation. And what has been a great joy for me is to connect my interest and my passion for space exploration, space discovery, what lies beyond our planet, as well as looking back at our planet, the Earth, from space, and connecting that with the arts in expressions of music, expressions of painting, and artwork. I've been very fortunate to conduct 3 workshops at the ISU, International Space University, on this exact topic, space and the arts. And I am always thrilled and excited to see what the participants create through song, through art, through poetry, etc. And I plan to share a couple of those. I thought what I would do first, before taking any questions, which I invite later on, uh, I think what I'd like to do is share my screen and share a few examples of this space in the arts that can give much better than my words. They can give visual and artistic images of what exactly different people have done. And perhaps some of you in your own creations or your own mind either imagine or have already created some of these works of art as well. And I encourage everyone to feel that this is a way of joining, perhaps as we say, different parts of the brain, the intellectual side, the artistic and creative side, and to connect other parts of your own lives. Some of you, I expect, are musicians and artists and writers and creators in many different ways, perhaps beyond my own imagination. So you will see that here are examples of people who have brought to us their own artwork connected with artistry. So with Elif's help and my own attempt here, I will screen share and bring to you several of these examples. So I will do screen sharing now. And Alif can tell me if it is
Yeah, we
working.
see it. It's
Very good.
working.
So first, let me share some examples. Here are some examples of the art that was created from the workshop that I conducted at the International Space University. This was in 2019, the summer of 2019, during the 9-week program that ISU conducts every summer, with one exception during this time of the pandemic. This last summer, there was a 5-week interactive virtual program. But in 2019, here are 3 examples. I will go to full screen. This is a painting done by one of the participants in the workshop. I can't even, we can have our own idea of what this painting corresponds to, but this is one of the participants. She is actually a lawyer in the United States, in Seattle. So in addition to being a lawyer and being interested in space, and now an alumni of the Space University working in space law, she's also an artist, and she created this. This is someone else in the participation did this work of art, I believe with creative online graphics. And then finally, this is a stencil where somebody cut out the shape of a rocket. Alif, are you still hearing me okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So
Yeah,
this,
I hear that's very clear, and the screen is clear
okay,
too.
very good. I'll check in occasionally just to make sure the internet is working okay. This was a cutout of just a piece of cardboard, and this participant cut out the shape so that if you fill in the color with whatever, either with a magic marker, with a marker, or with a paintbrush, you could create the shape of a rocket or on anything you wish to do. And again, this is just creative artwork. So those are the 3 that come out of, that's just one example. I will see if I could hide this again. Well, let me do this. Go back. And let's see, what else? Show all. There we go. By the way, this is the astronomy picture of the day for today. And the picture they are showing is biking on the moon. Actually, biking along the ridge with the picture of the moon in the background. This just happened to be today's picture. And since I also am on Chincoteague Island with my own bicycle and then intend to ride later when our session ends, I thought this was quite a coincidence. Let's see, get rid of that. Now let's see if I have my YouTube link. I don't. So I am going to go to my browser, and let's see. So what I'm going to show is something that went viral. Let me pause that a second. This is a YouTube video available to anyone who wishes to see it under the title Space Oddity. Oddity, that's a song that Chris Hadfield, astronaut Chris Hadfield from Canada, when he was on the space station. You will see him performing this, and this is what he recorded and got permission from the artist to create this song using his own a few extra words. So I will show this now. And go to full screen. Just to give another example of what someone with creative artistic talent, who also obviously had a passion for space, and he became an astronaut. And let's see what he did. And many of you, I expect, has seen this. 5 minutes. We'll just watch it together. That's astronaut Chris Hadfield from Canada.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Lock your Soyuz hatch and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. 7, 6, commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2, detach from station and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. But it's time to guide the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I've left forevermore. And I'm floating in a most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can. Of the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing left to do. Oh, I've flown 100,000 miles. I'm feeling very still. And before too long, I know it's time to go. Our commander comes down back to Earth and knows. Ground control to Major Tom, the time is near. There's not too long. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear am I floating in my tin can?
Thanks a lot for sharing this nice music. And you know, a while ago, electricity went off, so we just stay in darkness. My friends made a spotlight on me. Just again, we have electricity finally.
Okay, so did that come through okay, Ali?
Yeah, that's okay.
Very good. Let's see, how do I go back to the normal screen? Back to meeting, right? Okay, so the next thing I wish to show from my example here, when I worked at NASA headquarters, I had the great joy to envision what the future may be when it's more than just specialized scientists or engineers like Chris Hadfield and others who are traveling into space, but when perhaps there may come a day when we are colonizing and settling on other bodies. And one of the things I wish to do, I worked with an artist who is very skilled. His name is Pat Rawlings, and he created some artwork. And let me see if I could pull up the picture from my desktop, just a second. Okay. So Patrick Rawlings created this picture for me. It is what the Olympics may look like someday on the lunar surface, when perhaps we have a space colony. Let me minimize and move this away. It's called the Lunar Games. And I will read this here. In the 21st century, will the moon become a place where people live, learn, work, and play? With only 1/6 gravity, imagine pole vaulting to incredible heights, or events such as human flight inside this large dome on the moon made of a material which perhaps we could call unobtainium today because we cannot obtain it. We do not know how to build it, but perhaps someday future scientists or engineers will envision how, or architects will figure out how to create material that is transparent, that allows the light to come through, but creates an environment in natural air within this dome where humans with their strength may be able to have a creative foil or a way to propel themselves around this dome, where here we have a holographic projection of a basketball game taking place in this stadium next door. And you can see here different events taking place, like a human lifting great weights, or a team of divers diving off a high tower into a pool. You have the different visitors and tourists seeing it, family members coming from different, I hope you're receiving me okay. Yes, good. From different countries maybe, or maybe even different settlements on different, maybe there's a Mars representative from a Mars settlement, or Earth. Here you see a little rocket ship coming in, bringing people, perhaps reporters that are going to report the games, and below the surface, maybe hotels where the visitors will be staying. GNN, Global News Network, beaming the games back to Earth. so everyone can watch this Olympic-like event occurring on the moon someday. This is an example where I worked with an artist, Patrick Rawlings, who signed this oil. He did the oil painting of this, and from this oil painting, we created a lithograph, which you see, this is a picture of. And on the back side of this lithograph, I worked with a teacher to come up with mathematics exercises, topics of discussion, so that young children or children of any age from 8 to 80, from the youngest age to the oldest age, could imagine sports in space as an example of marrying the idea of artistic talent, such as gymnastics, or other kinds of creativity. And that's this other image, on the front image of the artwork of what those Olympics might look like. And then on the back, again, as I was explaining, we put together this material describing the front. Let the games begin as the ending of this description. And then there's the exercises here in mathematics that people can, how far could you kick a soccer ball on the moon when you have only 1/6 gravity? And how high might you be able to jump, again, with less gravity? And then discussion, what events could you imagine with your own creativity could take place in 1/6 gravity or in floating a station that's orbiting the Earth? So again, this is a way that we can communicate with different ages and different people of different creative talents. The final thing I will show, let's go back to, is a slide presentation. This was my own creation where I worked with others to come up with poetry that would be combined with some of the most beautiful images that come from the Hubble Space Telescope and other formulations.
Maybe we can have a little discussion about the previous picture, because I wonder something actually. As you know that already on the mathematical calculation that we see the human can jump higher on the moon because of the gravity is less. So I a little bit animated all the sport activities in my mind, what we can do on the moon. So then, as you know that there is analog practicing places on the Earth. So do you think can we create such a place on the Earth to practice, to experience this sport activity, like an analog sport center for a moon?
Well, that's a very interesting idea. Do you have you envisioned such an analog? Obviously, some of the astronauts do analog training underwater, for example. They will dive either in large pools, tanks of water, and sometimes they will travel to a place in the Florida Keys, which is underwater. It's called NEEMO, N-E-E-M-O, which is an acronym, NASA Extreme Environments or something like that, where they will do work. But what about, Alif, do you have some ideas of an analog on the Earth?
Yes, I have. Actually, as you know that I wanted to really expert about space architecture, and after that I researched about some places of analogging, and I heard that some people are experiencing analog astronaut like Moon or Mars places. And as I know that there is a place in Utah Desert that is the very similar place to Mars, and there is also a place in Antarctica very similar to Mars surface and the condition. But the issue is that what I asked actually is the gravity. Can we change the gravity on the Earth and then experience to jump higher? And also I see on the picture there is a pool and someone is jumping from that stairs to the pool, and perhaps probably that will be very different experience because the gravity is so different and human is jumping from the above to the pool. It's like you can turn a lot until you go down. But I don't know if we can create such a place on Earth to experience it. And
Well,
also we again got the problem of like electricity. It went off again. Really sorry.
No, that's all right. I love that you mentioned the pool, because one of my favorite ideas is, with so much extra time from when you jump to when you hit the water, if you can imagine it's going to take 6 times longer than it does now. I wonder perhaps if a new sport could be done on the moon, where you have synchronized divers diving from a team, say a team of several divers doing. We've had synchronized swimming under the pool, but what about a synchronized dive where a team of divers jump at the same time, and in the air they do some kind of choreographed movement before they hit the water? Just an idea. But getting back to your question, Elif, about analogs, the ways that I have learned about or for trying to reduce the gravity analog or simulation of that. One, obviously, we've mentioned already, and that's underwater. You have the buoyancy, the water's buoyancy that will offset somewhat. And I am a scuba diver. I've done some scuba diving, not much. And there you put on weights and you have a tank, and your buoyancy helps to move you up and down. Another example in astronaut training is to have structures that just where can help lift you up, either by mechanical means or by rocket jets, to offset the weight that you are feeling. So there's some examples of doing analogs with the lunar lander when they were practicing for the Apollo missions to the moon. They had offset the gravity by using structures to hold the weight so the astronauts would not feel the full weight. Is that okay for now?
Yeah. And I wish
The
we can.
last thing,
Really, I want to be an architect of such kind of stadium on the Earth. That will be my job.
that will be. I look forward to the creativity and the creations that you will have in your career. So the last thing I will show is this little slideshow, about 5 minutes worth, that is a collection of some of my own favorite images from that website, Astronomy Picture of the Day, which over a number of years, every once in a while would make me say, wow, and would cause almost some emotion and in seeing the creativity of it. And I decided to create a little bit of music with it and in another formula. So let me just show that with the music, if you don't mind. It'll take a few minutes. Is that okay, Elif?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to turn my light off so it's, and I will close my screen and go to this other.
So we can see how incredible is the space, how amazing. Like it's real art on the space. And someone is wondering what is the name of the music in the background.
So the name, it's Hine Matovu. It's actually from an ancient Hebrew tradition, I believe. And this is the artist, John Simon, who my wife and daughter just picked out. They said that it had saw a piano. It just had sort of a spiritual kind of spooky and quiet serenity. I think everybody perhaps can create this example of marrying the creativity of music with the beauty and artistry that the universe and the heavens have provided in nature. All of these images that you saw, they came from Astronomy Picture of the Day. Here's the website. And they are actual images. They're not paintings. Those were pictures taken, some from the wavelengths of light that our own eyes can see, and others from infrared or ultraviolet light or other kinds of formulations. So I think, and in what has been done with this, let me hide this, go back. How do I, okay.
Our team is itself very wondering about the space art actually. They love science and space with the music and the art actually. So also we have different groups of students, and also we have a group of astrophotographers. Maybe they are not, they cannot take like pictures like this, but still they have some pictures picturing given. So maybe in the end of the section we can share that too.
So this is, I did, before I leave, one other thing that I wanted to mention is, if you, I've with others, partnering with others, there have been a number of presentations of pictures like the ones I just showed, where we had a piano player playing his or her own music, and then people speaking poetry for each of the pictures that you just saw. And in some examples, it's been poetry from some of the sacred texts of the world's religions, from different religions, from Hindu, from Islam, from the Judeo-Christian faith, and sacred poetry from the ancient books of these religions, where those words are talking about the immensity and the awesomeness of creation, around us. And you can hear those words being spoken in beautiful language, along with the music playing and these pictures on a large screen or in a theater. And that's another way of bringing the different forms of art along with an interest in space. And with that, I think this is the kinds of things I've done in my workshop. And now I am open to questions or discussion.
Yeah.
Elif, I will turn it back to you and you can lead us through that.
Okay, maybe we can start with the first question of me. What I wonder is, do you think that in the science and space works previously, they were not considering about the art itself, but nowadays we see a lot of things in the art combined with science and space. What do you think about this? Is it true or not?
Yes, I think you make a very good point. For a long time, the focus was engineering and science, and we need to discover things. And there wasn't so much attention. In fact, it was probably pushed aside because it was felt, well, we don't want to interfere with the intellect of finding new knowledge or building new things. But I think that helped. One thing that helped, there was an astronaut, an American astronaut during the Apollo program. His name is Alan Bean, and I believe it's the last name is spelled B as in boy, B-E-A-N, Alan Bean. He went to the moon. He walked on the moon. He was one of only 6 people that ever walked on the moon. And he came back from that experience as an artist and started to do artwork. And he just passed away. He's left us after a long life a few years ago. But his artwork is on the web and it's been sold in art galleries. And he was a pioneer in allowing people to talk about the art. In fact, many of our astronauts from Russia, from the US, from the Earth, as you see in this picture from that's behind me, they've had this experience not only of artistry, but also of worrying about the environment and how we could save it. So that prompted a lot more people to realize that art, the artistry of portraying what you see, either in words or in song or in painting, is very much a part of the human experience and should be shared broadly. And in fact, if you go, one of the most popular museums in the USA in Washington, D.C. is the Air and Space Museum. And they have one of the galleries of that museum is all filled with artwork. So that's
okay. I can start with the second question of Zine. It's not completely about art, but it's about space only. But still, I want to ask you. She said that if our universe is expanding all the time, so what is the areas where it expands and where is it expanding, where it's going?
Like, where is it going to?
Yeah.
Well, this gets into an area where I think our future scientists and thinkers and philosophers perhaps will give us a clearer answer. It's one of the most mysterious questions that is puzzling humanity and the greatest thinkers right now. What is it moving into, and will it continue to expand, or will at some point it contract back into a smaller size? I have no answer because no one has an answer now. And whatever thoughts, if the person who asked that question, their thoughts about it may be as valuable as anyone else.
Okay, the next question is about the picture that you showed us about the stadium. It's from Jaylin Akdeniz. She is wondering if, like, wouldn't swimming on the moon or jumping in the water from a high place have bad consequences? For example, regarding to the pressure applied to our ears.
That's an excellent question. And I wonder that myself. We know right now, in fact, there's been quite a lot of study in the space station about what happens to your ears, the vestibular functions within the ear, which are very important to the balance of humanity. So a person senses the balance, and that's why often you can get motion sickness from a roller coaster in an amusement park or from traveling in a plane and going into space. And there's a lot of study about what happens for different with zero gravity, but there's very little that we that we know right now about a fractional gravity, where we know the only experience we've had is on the Earth, one gravity, the normal gravity, and the acceleration that's produced, say, in an amusement park ride, or going in a rocket into space, and then the zero gravity that we have in orbit. But it's still for the future to understand what happens when we have, for example, 1/6 gravity like on the moon, or around 1/4, 1/4 gravity on Mars. So that's a good area of research for some future physiological researcher. Will there be some problem from diving into a pool? I don't know. Next.
Yeah. So we have a question from a friend from Indonesia. Even it's very late there, but still she is with us and waiting for this.
Thank you so much for joining us from Indonesia.
Tulde was Turkish, so she waited for this panel. So she is wondering that why is the nebulous irregular and why is it considered beauty?
Was this about a nebulous?
Yeah, it's about nebulous.
Why are some of them regular, or why are some of them what?
Why is the nebula irregular, and why is it considered beautiful?
Why is it considered beautiful? Well, I think everybody has their own perspective on what beauty is. So it is really for the person who's asking the question, is it beautiful to that person? And if not, perhaps a different nebula or a different galaxy or a different star cluster or a different image would be beautiful. The definition of what is beautiful for one is going to be very different than what it is for someone else. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Another question is from our friend Sana. She asked how the space will influence our perception of art. Perception of art, pardon. How the space will influence our perception of art.
Yes, I understand the question. I'm thinking about it. It's a deep question. Perhaps Elif, yourself, or perhaps the person who asks the question can give. I would love to hear what this person would think. How might it change the perception of art?
Maybe we can call her that she can come to answer this, but still she doesn't want to come.
I think, as with any the definition of, from the basic definition of exploration and exploring comes new knowledge. And from new knowledge comes new perception. So I expect there will be new perception from space, and it will probably come in ways that surprise us all. And I can only just imagine from the things that I've seen that we have great things to come in different types of art, in different types of art forms that may be possible when we take gravity out of the equation, when gravity is no longer something that controls us or binds us to our surroundings.
So I wonder something in how expand of like how the space art can apply to the earth art. I mean, when someone is only dealing with the earth art, the art we do on the earth, but then he or she dealing with the art of space, and then how extent it will change the perspective of the art on that person, do you think? In which way?
Is this your question, or does this question come from someone else?
This question is coming from me.
I would love to hear your thoughts on that same idea. That's something I have to admit I had not thought about. Perhaps what we need to see is somebody like astronaut Chris Hadfield from Canada, or somebody else who has traveled into space, who they themselves have a creative and artistic personality, for example, in music or in art. And how does that then affect what they used to do? For example, Chris Hadfield now, I believe he has retired from going into space, but he is still a musician. And I wonder if his music on the earth now has been transformed from having the experience of performing it in space. For example, I wonder as well for those who may create art in artistic, art in a way of sculpture or painting or in poetry, how somebody that's been in space comes back to the earth. Does that transform? Do they have new perceptions? Elif, you'll have to find one of these people and ask them, because I do not have an answer.
Okay, maybe I can put an idea on it. On my thought, really, when I consider about the field of architecture on the earth, I was thinking of something inspiring and maybe not deep searching. But when I met the space architecture, it's when we consider the art architecture itself is an art. So space architecture can be a space art as well. So I found that I needed to search more than I do on the earth, because everything is extremely different than earth, like gravity and the radiation and the soil itself and the material and everything is completely different. So we needed to research more for getting the results. So for the art itself, when someone start to take the space art to her or his life, so I think that person will be someone who are researching more than doing on the earth. What do you think?
You know what, it's I love that. I love where you're going with this thinking, because it can take us to a new, both literally to a new plane, to a new height, so to speak, and also figuratively, in other words, just in the way of expression. One thing came to mind as you were talking about architecture is there is in the ISU library, the International Space University Library, which is online. If you go to its library, it has a keyword search, and you can search on terms that for the research for 32 years, this university, the participants, the students have created team projects. And there is a way to browse the team projects by title, by keyword. And one comes to mind in 2009, when the gathering brought together about 120 people from 25 or 30 countries of all different ages, all at least with a university degree. One of the team projects was called Mars Caves. We know that on Mars, there are caves just like on the Earth. We have lava tubes and caves that are created underneath the ground, either by water processes or by lava processes. I was in the Canary Islands to do some scuba diving, and the island of Lanzarote that I was on is very volcanic, and it has long tubes under the ground, caves under the ground created by lava from ancient eruptions of volcanoes. So this team project called Mars Caves, and you can find it in the ISU library from 2009, looked at perhaps habitats on Mars, and now they're looking about the same thing on the moon, because we think there may be such caves on the moon. Perhaps you can use these caves for human habitats to give the protection from the radiation by the natural soil, the natural material on those bodies on the moon and Mars. But now you have the architecture and the architecture challenge. How do you make such caves and structures pleasant to human beings so that you could enjoy living in them? If you're going to live underground or live in these caves because it's for your health or for your safety, you also want your mind to be healthy and your mind to be inspired by the beauty of your surroundings and not just going outside. You can imagine living in a space station or living in a cave maybe for a month or for a period of time. And if it's an expedition, if it's a short time, you can probably tolerate most anything. But if you plan to live there for a long period of time, you want it to be pleasant. And that's the challenge for architects, for creative minds, for artists, to work with engineers and scientists and how to formulate habitats, surroundings, environments that are not only functional and safe, but also pleasant and with beauty and with all that we all need to survive and have good mental enjoyment and emotional enjoyment.
Yeah. I would like to add a small thing and then pass the next question. I want to point out here, maybe you have seen some new projects of ISS. As you know that previously there were only like space engineers who were creating and designing ISS and space shuttles. So it was like a lot of cables around. Like if you were an astronaut and living on that ISS, it would be like a depression, maybe seeing a lot of, even it's still same, seeing a lot of cables. So, but now, as you know, that space architects came into the space work, so they made artistic ISS inner part. Like I watched some like animations and 3D renderings, and so like 3D printings of new ISS styles. So I think the art will help the psychology of human to let them to stand in the space longer, because the psychology of human is the worst problem for traveling to the space for a long period of time. So we can solve the problem with the art, combine it with the architecture. So for the next question is from Jaylene again.
May I, before you go on to the next question, because I don't want to lose this thought that you brought up, 3 things came to mind about the ISS. One, it was deliberate that they would create an area of the space station, the ISS, which is there right now, which is the cupola, which has windows on all sides, and it's mostly used by the astronauts just to go in and to gaze at the beauty of the Earth, to gaze at the stars, and to have that part of what we all need as humans to enjoy nature, enjoy the environment, and not just feel like you're in this tin can. That's one idea. The second one is that each astronaut is allowed to bring up a certain number of personal items. And I am certain that some of these personal items, in addition to pictures of their family, are probably art in all different ways: music, books, paintings, and maybe their own ability to do art. And the third thing that comes to mind, the head of the master's program at the International Space University, Professor Chris Welch, worked with one of the ISU alumni who is an artist. He uses the name, he's a Mexican artist, and he uses the name Nahum, N-A-H-U-M. And Professor Welch and Nahum created an experiment which is on the ISS right now. It's a kaleidoscope. Do you know the term kaleidoscope? It's a way of diffracting light to make all different kinds of colors. And they created this true experiment is solely for art. It doesn't have any other function. It's on the space station right now, and it uses sound. So if you're on the ground, and I was part of this experiment, we were on the ground, and they took the microphone and placed it on the heart of somebody, and the heartbeat went up to the space station and caused the kaleidoscope to create lights. And that light, the artistic light of different colors, was then transmitted to the ground on a screen, and everybody could see the heartbeat creating in space this art. And the name of the experiment is Hydra, H-Y-D-R-A, number 3. And it's a kaleidoscope in space that the ISU, the International Space University, Nahum and Professor Welch created. And I'm sure I know there's some video on the internet that shows that experiment. So I'm sorry for taking time, but I wanted you to know that there is some artwork going on the space station, and it's not all just engineering and science.
Yeah, I see. So the next question was, do you think art will be more relevant to space in the future?
Yes, because I think that, as in that picture of the Olympics on the moon, someday when we talk about space, it will be like talking about going to another country or another continent. It is a place. And if people are living in that place, and of course, when we say space, we could mean living on a body like the moon or Mars, or a moon of Jupiter or moon of Saturn, or it could be living inside a structure. If you can imagine in the movie where Matt Damon starred, the actor Matt Damon, who did the movie The Martian, but he also did a movie called Elysium. And in Elysium, there is a space station of millions of people, a huge, huge structure floating in space of millions of people living inside, with beautiful rivers and forests, as well as residences. So everything floating in free space with zero gravity, but then rotating the structure so it would have artificial gravity. And when we talk about space, then art will be as much a part of the life of people living in these other places as the art is here on Earth.
Yeah. Uh, you know, we have a kid group, so we take a lot of questions from them. They are
Thank
here.
you.
They're around 10, 11, 12 years old. They wonder
Hi.
a lot and ask questions. The previous one and the next, this question is also from them. This question is from Muhammad. He's asking that, do you think that a planet can be like the Earth one day? Like it can be changed and day by day thinking, not day by
So
day.
this is uh, there's a lot, people have thought about this and written about this and proposed about this for a long time, called terraforming. Terra from the word for the earth, forming, transforming. And people talk about the possibility of transforming Mars so that we know that Mars has water, but a lot of it is frozen, and it probably had an atmosphere, but somehow it lost most of it long time ago. And there is work. Um, I would say there are people proposing things. There are others who say, do we have a right? Do human beings have a right to, should we be allowed to transform another world? Perhaps that other world has its own life. Maybe that life is in microscopic ways or other types of life that we don't understand. Should we be allowed to transform it? I would suggest that this person look at the term terraforming Mars, and do a Google search on it, or do some research in books, and perhaps a librarian, somebody who works with a library online or in their town or in their school, could help find some of this, because there's a lot of talk about that. And a big question is, should we do it? Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. I have no good answer more than that.
Okay, the next question will be from me again, if you accept. I wonder this thing after being with space more. So we travel to there. We will go to the moon again. So do you think that we can discover new materials for art itself, like new brushes, maybe papers, new colors, maybe new material to paint? Do you think we can do that?
I think we will. I think we will. I think perhaps the first thing that will happen, and that will lead to discovery of new materials, the first thing might be, how could we try to create the artistic materials we usually use? Somebody, for example, if somebody is on the moon and that the person is an artist back on Earth, may take some soil of the moon or other materials on the moon and mix it with a little bit of fluid or liquid. It may not be water, may want to mix it with some other kind of liquid, to try to create a painter's type of paint. And in the process of trying to create what they think they had on Earth, they may create a person may create something totally new. And that's my first thought, is that very often the discovery and the surprise comes when you're not looking for it. You're looking to try to do something else. So that's the answer that comes to mind for me. I don't hear.
We forget after
Of
we
course, we all
mute
forget.
ourselves.
We all forget.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. And is it? I said that is it okay for if I do a screen share and show some pictures, space pictures from our team, from our some mentor teacher and our students? Maybe you can criticize and check how nice or bad we are.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a right to criticize. I certainly will love to see the pictures. I think we have about another 10 minutes. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we can share it, and then maybe we have other questions I can ask you.
This is
Here.
so this is oh, is this this is a slideshow or with music?
It's a video, 2.5 minutes only.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this stop share. Maybe I do a little like, oh, I want to introduce the names of owner of the pictures, Aydın Mustafa, or like a mentor teacher. And I don't know this one, but Jumali Nafshi is our board member in our Stardust Squad science team. And Mehmet Ergün also is, I think it's very popular man with space picturing, like a mentor again. That's all. This is Turkish. If you like, I can translate for you, but still.
Well, I see Stephen Hawking's name. I didn't know he knew how to speak Turkish.
Ayaklarınızı değil, gökyüzüne bakın. It says that Stephen says, don't look at your feet, look at the sky. Yeah, I'll stop share, and we are back again.
I love that. It was a beautiful video. I applaud the creators, and also some excellent astrophotography, some beautiful pictures through the telescope. Um, and it's great to see this kind of creativity. And I like, what was the music that we were hearing? Was it computer generated or was it on actual instruments?
Oh, I don't know because I didn't prepare the video. One of our friends prepared. He is here. I can ask him, but he is not here. Oh, yeah, he's here, but he's a little bit difficult. I feel difficulty about understanding English, so I can write in Turkish for him. Yeah.
No, that's all right. The other, oh, are you asking or should I ask my other question?
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
Are the people who created this, are they all in Vaughan, in the town where you are? Or,
In our team, we mainly created our team in Van, and then we spread it to other cities of Turkey. The one who took these pictures, none of them are in Van, but
they
still
are, they're all in Turkey?
they're all from Turkey, and one of it I think is living in Germany now.
Okay. And the pictures that we saw, well, there, I did see one that was Northern Lights. So was that actually, did you, were the Northern Lights, the aurora, able to be seen in Turkey?
Yeah, that's right. We don't see it in Turkey, but they all the time move to places. They select a place and then they go there. They do camping and then take pictures from the night until morning. So one of our mentor teacher, Aydın, he went to capture these pictures in the north part.
I see. So it went to a different country.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
For pictures,
yeah. It is one of my goals in life to go somewhere to see the Northern Lights, the aurora. That's one thing I have not experienced and would love to see it someday. Once I can travel again.
Yeah. Okay, we have finished our questions.
Oh, very good. This
yeah.
is perfect timing.
Yeah, but I want to close the panel with the last thing, last question. As you know that people all the time asked us previously, if you had fallen on an island, what 3 things you would take with you? But I want to change this question to you. If you could go to space or moon and Mars, what 3 things you would like to take with you? I mean, not the food or water and so on, but out of these things. Yeah.
So you're putting me on the spot to think about something I have not thought about, except that I'm trying, in taking this trip that I just took, which means 2 days ago, I left my home. I woke up in the morning, decided I'm going to see this rocket launch. It's a night launch. Yeah. What would I want to grab and take with me? And so I'm using that to help channel to your question. What did I take?
Maybe everyone here can think about this question and write on the chat box what they think. What do you think, guys? Are you there?
Yeah. So what I took with me, I of course took the things that you're saying you usually think about. I took some clothing, and I took a water bottle, and I took things to shave and to do other things. But I also took my bicycle, and I took my kayak. I have a kayak, and do you know what a kayak is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I took my kayak, I took my bicycle, I took my binoculars. So I think I probably would take, if I went to space, I would take something, if I was going to another body like the moon or Mars, I would take something to allow me to travel different places, something that here on the earth it would be like a bicycle. And I'd want to be able to go faster than my feet could carry me. And I also would want to take probably some music to calm me, music that I like to listen to, perhaps as I'm going to sleep. And then I probably would have to take ice cream.
Really? Wow. I would never think about this one. So if someone else here would like to answer this question, we wonder about it, you can raise hand. I can open your voice and camera, so you can just speak out here to us. Do everyone hear us? I think no one wants to open the camera and answer this question.
Well, I think that's probably a very good time to end. Everybody, it's very late for some people, and others. I really am thrilled that for those who have stayed with us, I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope you will now give thought, especially our young people and the students. I hope they will give thought to creating art in any way you define art, music or painting or drawing or sculpture, whatever, that has a theme around space, that brings a space message as well, and that they enjoy it. And I wish you well, and I wish everyone good health. And and remember that the sky is not the limit. We have other much further limits than the sky.
No frontiers for us.
Mm.
If you guys who are listening to us, you can open your cameras. We can take a screen capture, maybe, if you want. But if you don't want, we can finish here.
I just put myself in I'm in gallery. Oh, there's some more people.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Jaylin. Oh, everyone can open the camera and then we can make a screen capture, screenshot as a memory, but no one wants to. It's okay. So Jaylin is also from our kid group. Oh, yeah, from Asia.
Where is can those who show up, can they tell me?
Yeah, I let them to open their voice as well. You can open your voice as well and cameras, please, if you want. It's not a force. Oh, baby.
I couldn't hear very well.
Did I hear baby cry?
Yeah.
Yes, my sister.
Very good. Where are you located right now?
Yeah, I'm in Turkey, in Kahramanmaraş.
Okay. And I see some other people have joined us. Is that Zidna?
Hi.
Hi. Did I say your name right? Is it Anama?
Zidna. You can call me Zidna. I'm from Indonesia.
It is my pleasure. Oh, thank you for Indonesia. Is that where you are right now? Oh, what time is it there? What time is it?
In chat.
It must already be Saturday, eh?
It's midnight over 0022.
So I just say
Too early
thank you.
morning now.
Oh, yeah. Well, you look surprisingly awake for that time, and I hope the presentation was worth your time to stay up so late.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Okay, we can say goodbye to everyone. Thanks for joining us, and thanks a lot, Steve Brody, that you give us
My pleasure.
time.
as
We're
we
very
like
happy.
to say, the phrase in Latin, ad astra to the stars someday.
Yeah.
Goodbye, all.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum.
So we'll do something. See you guys.